How do you give good feedback? Leaders give great feedback all the time because it helps their team grow, because it helps them as leaders grow, and it strengthens team morale. And one of the things that I've always encountered in talking to leaders is, how do you actually place feedback as a way that it helps others grow, that it helps lift other people up, rather than pushing them people down or demoralizing them, demotivating them. Most of us have learned feedback in the sandwich tactic. So there's feedback where you start out by saying what you like, and then you say everything that you actually want to say, the feedback about what they should be doing differently or better, and then you wrap it up by saying, oh yeah, but you're a great person, you're doing great. That's the sandwich tactic. Something good about the person, then all the stuff that you really want to say, and at the end, the kind of stuff that kind of wraps it up. While this can work for some, I have found that it is not the most effective way of giving feedback. Number one, because it's not specific. Number two, because it's not psychologically safe. You have the person think, oh, they're just saying something nice to get to the stuff that they really want to say before they kind of wrap it up. The third reason of this is being that there's no clear, specific action to take for them. So here is another way that you could try on how to give feedback. The first one is you want to be specific about the context in which the behavior happened, about which you're giving feedback. So, for example, you might say that today we had a meeting. So the context of the feedback is today's meeting. Then you move on to the behavior, where you describe in a neutral, objective way what behavior you saw. So, for example, you gave a presentation, and in that presentation you were very concise, you had a clear agenda, and got the meeting to a clear outcome. So that is a neutral description of what happened. There was a clear presentation with a clear agenda and an outcome that happened. Then you move on to the impact, where you say the impact of this was that everybody was clear on how they should move forward. Everybody was clear what was going to happen next in our project. This is the impact, where you describe how that behavior impacted the meeting, the team, or you as a leader. And then last one, you want to wrap it up with a clear call to action, where you say, I'd love for you to do even more of that in all the other meetings that are coming up. So you start with the situation, you describe the behavior in neutral terms, the impact that this behavior had, and then you have a clear call to action. This also works when you want to give developmental feedback or constructive feedback. So, for example, let's say that presentation was not well structured, it did not have a clear agenda, and there was no clear outcome. At the end, everybody was confused. Not the kind of meeting that you want to have for your team, because it wastes time. And let's be honest, many of us are in these kind of meetings. So how would you give feedback when you see this happen? Here is the same structure applied. Situation: today we had a meeting. Same thing, neutral thing. Nobody can deny that. Then you move to the behavior, where you describe what the behavior was. The meeting lacked an agenda, and there was no clear outcome that everybody could hold on to at the very end. The impact, you move to impact, was that everybody was confused, and we don't know where we stand on the project. For the next meeting, here's what I would love you to do. And then you go to the call to action. I would love for you to have an agenda. I would love for you to come with action items that everybody can hold on to, and maybe develop a structure that can help you. This maybe an Excel spreadsheet or some form of flip chart where you have this all captured. Notice how this feedback is psychologically safe, because it starts with a situation that nobody can deny. It describes the behavior that nobody can deny, and the impact is the impact that you as a leader observed that it had on the meeting. So also that this is nothing that the person that's receiving the feedback can deny. And if they know that you're in for their good, if they know that you as a leader want the best for them, that is the time when they're open, and that's the time when they're willing to receive, and that's when you place the call to action. Here's what I would love you to do. This is a growth area, and I know you can do it. Here are a few pointers for you. The moment you start giving feedback this way, your team opens up, your team member opens up and is willing to improve. In another video, we talked about having the growth mindset, the attitude versus the skills. A person with a growth mindset is always ready to receive that kind of feedback. It is more specific, it is more measurable, and is more psychologically safe than the sandwich tactic. So, sandwich is for eating. SBI do. Situation, behavior, impact, call to action, that's for giving feedback.